Trump sued AOC, but her witness shattered his empire in 9 seconds. In exactly 9 seconds, Donald Trump slammed a $250 million lawsuit on the table like a gavel meant to crush silence. But Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez didn't blink. She stood firm, ready to counter with financial records, a non-disclosure agreement, and the testimony of a former Trump Organization executive silenced by deals. What kind of secret funding is worth millions? And why did AOC risk her reputation to bring it to light? The lights in the press room were harsh, illuminating every detail as Trump took the podium with calculated poise. Cameras flashed relentlessly. He wasn't there for routine updates. He was delivering a spectacle. Today, Trump announced, his voice steady and laced with intensity, "I have filed a $250 million defamation suit against Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez." He paused for effect. "She has spread false narratives about my business practices, claiming hidden funds and hypocrisy that simply don't exist." The room buzzed, not from surprise but from the drama unfolding. Trump surveyed the crowd, his gaze sharp, already picturing the viral clips. "This serves as a clear message," he continued. "No one, regardless of their progressive rhetoric or party affiliation, can tarnish my business empire without consequences." Headlines were brewing, networks lighting up in partisan hues. Meanwhile, AOC's name surged in searches nationwide. Far from the frenzy, in her Capitol Hill office, AOC pored over documents on Trump Organization financial oversight. Her demeanor was composed, her words measured with sharp progressive wisdom. When billionaire money vanishes into opaque channels, it's not abstract, it's real workers affected, real communities bearing the burden of tax avoidance. An aide rushed in, sliding a sealed envelope across her desk, marked from the Southern District of New York. "Legal summons, high priority." AOC glanced at it mid-sentence, finished her thought with deliberate calm, then opened it without fanfare. The contents: a crisp complaint. Trump versus Ocasio-Cortez, defamation claim for $250 million. No visible reaction, just a quiet breath, as if weighing an old familiar challenge. She tapped the paper thoughtfully, assessing its implications like a seasoned strategist. A fellow representative nearby leaned in with concern. "All good, Alexandria?" Her reply was unflinching, delivered with that trademark Brooklyn assurance. "Absolutely couldn't be better." Then, without missing a beat, she addressed her chief of staff across the room. "I'd like to shift next week's schedule. Prioritize Tuesday's session on corporate transparency." "Why the change?" the colleague probed, eyebrows raised. AOC met their eyes evenly, her voice carrying the weight of inevitability. "To initiate discovery, plain and simple." The words hung heavy, the atmosphere thickening like humidity before a storm. She tucked the suit away efficiently into her leather briefcase, her expression resolute, analytical, with a hint of that Bronx grit. But what AOC didn't know was that she had been preparing for this moment for months. News broke like wildfire. Trump sues AOC for $250 over business funding smears. Her response: "Facts will prevail, and the American people deserve to know them." This wasn't just about policies anymore, it was a pivot to something profound, a line drawn in the sand of public trust. She'd been given the spark to illuminate shadows, while Trump believed he'd laid the snare to trap a critic. He was mistaken. What truth compels a billionaire to litigate preemptively before the full story emerges? Downstairs, in a secure briefing room tucked away from prying eyes, the air was tense, charged with the scent of fresh coffee and stacked legal pads. At the long oak table sat trusted allies, a composed colleague, a detail-oriented advisor, and a veteran lawyer with years of high-stakes experience. AOC placed the lawsuit down with a soft thud. "It's official," he bit hook, line, and sinker. The lawyer produced a thick red dossier from her briefcase, labeled Trump Organization Transparency Probe in bold marker, edges taped for security. "They really went for it," the colleague noted, shaking their head. AOC affirmed with a nod. "Before I escalated publicly, which tells you all you need to know about their nerves." The advisor whistled softly. "Handing us discovery on a silver platter. That's a gift we won't waste." Opening the file revealed suppressed realities, authenticated financial audits showing glaring mismatches in reported versus actual tax obligations, wire transfers totaling $4.2 million via shadowy intermediaries to political PACs labeled innocuously as business consulting, but lacking any public ethics disclosure. No transparency, just enforced quiet, buried under layers of contractual obligations. AOC examined an audit page closely, then retrieved her own envelope from an inner pocket, anonymous, postmarked from a neutral location marked private in hasty script. Inside, a handwritten letter she'd reviewed repeatedly, its creases worn from handling. "I served him loyally for years, but he ignored my alerts on these funds, sidelining me with promises that turned into threats. I'm the executive he effectively muzzled to protect his image." The lawyer highlighted a key transfer entry. "This cracks the case wide. Public interest overrides any secrecy clauses now, especially since he opened the door with this suit." AOC eyed an attached photo, Marcus Chen, earnest and professional, echoing the whistleblower spirit of someone determined despite the odds. Does he seek exposure or is this too personal? The advisor asked. AOC's response was steadfast, clarity, and the restoration of trust in how corporate power operates in our democracy. The group exchanged glances, consensus building. The true probe begins immediately. No delays. File shut with a decisive snap. AOC rose, her chair scraping faintly. He challenged the wrong advocate for transparency, someone who spent a career calling out corporate power and demanding accountability. But what happened next would shock everyone. Dawn was breaking over the horizon, but Capitol environs hummed with energy. Protesters divided into factions, some waving progressive flags, chanting for accountability, others brandishing signs lauding Trump as a successful businessman. Inside the historic building, AOC stood before her office mirror, reviewing the suit's arrogant closing lines, fabricated harm to my business reputation, demanding not just damages but retraction and silence. She recited it coolly under her breath, folding it away with methodical care. Let's test that narrative against the cold, hard evidence. An ally entered, surveying the makeshift war room, board plastered with timelines, press clippings and annotated charts, all pointing to concealed corporate ties that contradicted public tax filings. Minutes to go. Media's primed and hungry for sound bites. AOC nodded curtly, briefcase in hand, pausing to glance at the central headline on whistleblower claims, a stark reminder of the stakes. Reporters mobbed the lobby in a chaotic scrum, flashes blinding. Are you politicizing unproven claims for partisan gain? Representative, isn't this just retaliation against a successful businessman? She parted the throng silently, her silence more eloquent than any quip. The chamber gleamed under polished lights, ready for confrontation. Rows of chairs aligned like soldiers, folders stacked neatly. Representative AOC calmly took her seat, red file in view, a signal that truth was coming. Outside, chaos reigned, but inside the silence was deafening. Marcus Chen, a dismissed Trump Organization executive, clutched a letter detailing financial irregularities he once tried to expose. At AOC's urging, he prepared to read it aloud, revealing buried inconsistencies and his erasure from the narrative. Despite warnings of backlash, he stood firm. AOC called him the catalyst. Marcus answered, let's shake the system one truth at a time. The oversight chamber pulsed with electric tension. Red lights on C-SPAN cameras flickered like warning signals. Reporters perched on the edge of their seats, notebooks abandoned in favor of live tweeting devices. The double doors swung open with a resonant creak. Donald Trump entered with the confidence of someone used to commanding attention, his suit sharp and expensive, chin lifted in defiance. Flanked by his legal team, attorneys in tailored suits clutching thick binders, he scanned the space like a general assessing the battlefield. His eyes landed briefly on Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who sat composed, her expression one of quiet determination. She didn't avert her gaze. Instead, she met his steadily, a silent acknowledgement that this was no ordinary debate. The committee chair cleared their throat, voice amplified over the murmurs. We convene this special hearing under oversight protocols. Representative Ocasio-Cortez, you have requested to present a key witness. AOC rose deliberately, her movements unhurried. Yes, Madam Chair. A former Trump Organization executive with direct knowledge of the tax discrepancies at the heart of this lawsuit, whose insights have been suppressed for far too long. Trump let out a subtle scoff, audible enough to ripple through the room. This is theater, pure and simple. But AOC remained unfazed, turning to the doors with a single authoritative nod. They parted again, and in walked Marcus Chen. Professional in a simple blazer and tie, no props or notes, just the weight of his experiences etched on his face. The chamber inhaled collectively, whispers erupting into a low hum as cameras zoomed in. This was the whistleblower, the one whose name had started circulating in hushed Capitol corridors. Trump's posture stiffened. That's not relevant, he muttered to his lawyer. That's not evidence. AOC's voice sliced through cleanly. He's the proof you've been avoiding, sir. Marcus proceeded down the aisle, steps measured, taking his seat at the witness table with the poise of someone finally unshackled. AOC began her questioning with precision. Mr. Chen, can you describe your role in the Trump Organization? Marcus nodded, voice clear despite the spotlight. I served as a senior financial analyst, focused on tax optimization and reporting, handling audits and disclosure requirements. The room hung on his words, media outlets already framing live updates. AOC leaned in slightly. And during your tenure, did you encounter any irregularities in how taxes were calculated or reported? Marcus didn't hesitate. Yes, Representative. There were systematic undervaluations for tax purposes that contradicted appraisals used for loan applications. I raised concerns internally, but they were dismissed, and I was bound by an NDA to stay silent. Gasps dotted the gallery, but AOC guided the narrative expertly, projecting documents onto the screen, a wire log showing $4.2 million funneled through consulting fees, memos labeled tax optimization but lacking transparency filings. Let's examine this transfer log, she said, highlighting discrepancies with the skill of a prosecutor. Probability of legitimate business purpose, essentially zero, based on these patterns. Trump's team objected vehemently, but the chair overruled, citing relevance to the defamation claim. Media reactions poured in real time, tweets exploding with Trump tax truth. AOC didn't rush. She built the case methodically, introducing the NDA signed and witnessed, clauses prohibiting disclosure under penalty. "Why sign this?" she asked Marcus gently. "To protect the organization's image," Marcus replied. But it felt like erasing the facts. The tension escalated as AOC revealed a photo from a closed-door meeting. Trump and Marcus side by side, Trump's hand on his shoulder, the back inscribed to a key team player, "Stay committed." DJT. The chamber erupted in murmurs. Trump slammed his hand down. "Fabricated." But AOC countered smoothly. "Metadata confirms the timestamp. This isn't invention, it's documentation." Her pacing kept the room engaged, convincing even skeptics with fact-based persuasion. As Marcus detailed a commemorative pen engraved for the unseen work, a gift from Trump symbolizing regret over hidden deals, the room froze. But the most shocking moment was yet to come. AOC revealed the final bombshell. "Mr. Chen, can you tell us about the $47 million discrepancy between tax valuations and insurance claims for the same properties?" Marcus's voice was steady. The Mar-a-Lago property alone was valued at $28 million for taxes, but $739 million for loan collateral. Same building, same year, different purposes. The chamber went dead silent. Trump's face went white. His legal team frantically whispered, this wasn't just about transparency anymore. This was potential federal tax fraud. AOC continued methodically. "And when you tried to report these discrepancies to the IRS, what happened?" "I was terminated," Marcus said quietly, "and threatened with legal action if I spoke to anyone." AOC wrapped up. "These aren't attacks, they're truths demanding daylight." Trump fumed, but AOC's steady hand had shattered his narrative, proving her commitment to accountability with irrefutable grace. The hearing adjourned amid chaos, but AOC's poise had won the day. What happens when facts presented with unyielding integrity dismantle the facade of power? The fallout was immediate. Headlines screaming across screens. AOC exposes Trump tax gaps in explosive testimony. Social media ignited with users debating the revelations, many applauding AOC's masterful handling. Calm, factual, persuasive. In post-hearing interviews, pundits noted her composure, how she let the evidence speak while guiding the flow like a seasoned conductor. Marcus emerged stronger, his testimony a catalyst, but it was AOC's keen intelligence that framed it all. Calls for federal investigations mounted, and AOC responded modestly. "This is about serving the people, not personal wins." Within 72 hours, the IRS launched formal audits. The Manhattan DA's office opened criminal investigations. Trump's business empire, built on decades of questionable practices, began crumbling under the weight of scrutiny. Trump's lawsuit was quietly withdrawn. Marcus Chen became a symbol of courage. And AOC's reputation as a fearless advocate for truth was forever cemented. As evening fell, she addressed a small press gaggle. "Folks, this isn't about one person. It's about ensuring every corporation pays their fair share, openly and honestly." Her words, delivered with progressive clarity, further cemented her image as a principled leader, one who convinces not by volume, but by validity. The hearing's impact rippled, inspiring similar whistleblowers to come forward. In forums and talk shows, analysts dissected her technique, patient, evidence-driven, utterly convincing. The chamber had been a stage, and AOC the director who let truth take center stage, her intelligence a quiet force that outshone the drama. What legacy endures when wisdom and facts prevail over accusation? The truth delivered with precision, courage, and unwavering commitment to justice.